So I'm fairly certain we're all aware of what artificial intelligence is broadly, but let's set out some vocabulary and determine what exactly falls under the category of generative AI. So generative AI, in this video referred to either by its name, Gen AI, or just broadly AI, is a subcategory of artificial intelligence that generates new media, like text or images, based on the large amount of data it's trained on, or its datasets. It does this via neural networks, also called machine learning, which is essentially pattern recognition for computers. Creating a usable model based on a large training dataset takes a lot of time and processing power. What these neural networks are trying to achieve is basically something akin to how the human brain works, with interconnected relationships between data. This process includes a lot of filtration, weeding out the versions of the models that produce unusable outputs in favor of the ones that do, until a model is created that functions as intended. Gen AI includes chatbots and text generation like ChatGPT, image generation like Stable Diffusion and DALL-E, automated translation like that of Google Translate, artificially generated and mixed music and voices, image and sound recognition, and pretty much anything else created by a machine that wasn't directly instructed for by a human. Now that that's clear, let's talk about accessibility. Since Earth hosts such a wide diversity of people and cultures, obviously not everything is going to be in a language you speak, which makes automated translation tools like Google Translate just so useful. Although it's not always going to be 100% right when it comes to nuance and context, especially when it comes to languages more dissimilar to your own, it's generally good enough of a tool to get the main idea across. In a blog post from Google, the development team behind Google Translate talks about how they use neural network AI models to artificially infer context and to give more accurate translations to users, and these models will only continue to improve over time. But on the topic of accessibility, it's not only limited to language translation. For example, some University of Michigan alumni were able to harness generative AI to create software that, among many things, summarizes text, reads text aloud, automatically generates image descriptions, translates sign language, and much more. This isn't even to mention technology that has the ability to create transcripts of spoken media or read text. Also, this incredibly powerful technology is available to pretty much anyone with an internet connection, meaning that anyone can utilize it, and as it evolves even further, creating accessibility for disabled people will become even easier and less time-consuming, especially when it comes to things like captioning long-form videos. But this isn't the only upside of generative AI. Corporate professionals would tell you that AI is an incredible tool for increasing productivity in the workplace, as it quite literally can generate the work for you. In fact, tech company NVIDIA claims that AI can assist with all sorts of tasks, including essay generation, code development, sound effects, marketing images, assets for games, creating graphs, and improving on existing company resources. But Gen AI doesn't only have to create new material for you, it can also provide suggestions on your work without actually altering it. For example, giving your essay to ChatGPT and improving upon it with the suggestions it provides you, which is especially helpful if you don't have access to a real peer editor. From an artistic perspective, AI tools for illustration can be extremely useful. It can help save time by generating color palettes, brainstorming ideas, or even coloring your drafts for you. AI has the potential to be an excellent tool for artists to kill two birds with one stone and to make the process more fun and more efficient. However, that doesn't seem to be what some people have in mind for this technology. Building upon the topic of art, one of the more prominent use cases of generative AI seen on the internet has been with that exactly. A user gives a type prompt to an AI and it produces an image based on said prompt. From a purely technological standpoint, this is really cool, but the issues come with the uses and sources of these images. In comes our old good friend copyright. Datasets that many popular generative AI art models are trained on include data from almost 6 billion images online, a lot of which are most definitely copyright protected. It's still unclear whether legally AI art falls under fair use, but it is certain that a lot of creators are unhappy about the unauthorized use of their works, as seen with Getty Images filing a lawsuit against big names in the AI industry just last year. Though this problem doesn't only apply to AI-generated images, but as well as chatbots using data scraped from copyright-protected literature. Why not just remove the unlicensed media from their datasets then? Well, OpenAI, creator of ChatGPT, claimed that limiting training data to public domain books and drawings created more than a century ago might yield an interesting experiment, but would not provide AI systems that meet the needs of today's citizens. Now, with my own experience as an artist on the internet, I've seen many instances of AI art being misused and mislabeled, like AI-generated submissions being entered into art contests, or selling AI art for real money without ever disclosing that it was created by AI. But coming largely to ethics, something that's been huge is AI models that have been trained on the work of dead artists, who physically cannot consent to having their work used. Take South Korean illustrator Kim Jung-gi, who passed away in October 2022. In memorial, a Twitter user fed the late artist's work into Stability AI's Stable Diffusion to replicate his style. The response to this was overwhelmingly negative, criticizing that it was extremely disrespectful and completely undermines all of the hard work he had done just to produce more content in his style. Another issue with ethics, AI voice banks. Now, voice banks aren't exactly a new concept on the internet, and we can see this as early as 2004 with a voice synthesizer program called Vocaloid. Vocaloid allows users to generate rough vocal maps based on input lyrics and melodies, and then edit them after through their artistic preferences and to sound more normal. However, in the modern day and age, you can go to pretty much any AI voice bank site, type in a couple of lines, and get a passable output with little to no extra work from the end user, especially in the past year. This has resulted in the voices of unconsenting actors being used without ever involving them, something we'd call a deepfake. Comparing the quality of a deepfake from just a bit over 3 years ago in July 2020 from Linus Tech Tips.
Just when you think you've reviewed every ergonomic keyboard on the planet, a new company with a name like Truly Ergonomic launches something like this, the Cleave keyboard, apparently the world's most comfortable.
To the clips provided by the Washington Post in April 2023.
Hello, my dear ones. My name is Olivia. I have a soft and caring voice. I can record voiceovers for audiobooks, educational videos, and even make a soft sell.
We can see just how much deepfakes are improving in both quality and accuracy, and in turn, becoming more convenient to use for both random users on the internet and the companies that hire the voice actors in the first place. According to the Washington Post, the advancement of deepfake technology may now truly be posing a threat to voice actors' careers, as the companies that hire them could use their voices to patch up existing recordings, as opposed to doing retakes, or even sell their voice files to third-party voice bank services. This development isn't only concerning for their professions, but also potentially their reputations. In a Forbes article on the topic of unrelated parties using AI voice banks to generate audio clips, voice actor Jones states, "Not only is my voice saying something I would never say, that stuff is out there in the world. If potential buyers hear our voices saying that, how will that affect my future work?" As generative AI voice models progress more, when do we reach the point where it's indistinguishable from real life? That leads to the next issue: misinformation! Since generative AI has very recently become both accessible to the everyday person and increasingly convincing, it can and has been used as a method to spread false information. As an example, many are worried about how this technology could affect elections, as AI could be used to both slander and endorse candidates. Additionally, since their models are trained on data from all across the internet, Gen AI can unintentionally output lies as facts, called hallucinations. In an AP News article, linguistics professor Emily Bender even says that hallucinations aren't fixable. It's inherent in the mismatch between the technology and the proposed use cases. Also, not to mention how easy it is to get ChatGPT to just make stuff up. I mean, seriously. Congrats, Mr. Fulton. Anyway, generative AI does not have a one-size-fits-all solution, but generally speaking, most solutions fall into one of 3 categories. Number 1, the status quo. Establish that AI falls under fair use laws and that those who are interested in genuine media will commission practice creatives. There are also already ways, for illustrators at least, to protect their artwork from the datasets in the form of, essentially, watermarks. Those interested in the technology can continue to improve upon it without limit until it becomes harder to differentiate fiction from reality. 2. Increase regulations on AI. Establish that AI does not fall under fair use laws and require that AI datasets must only use works in the public domain or require proper licensing from creators, as well as to mark AI-generated media accordingly. These regulations would also need to cover bases such as news reporting, realistic image generation, as well as deepfakes of people and voices. And 3. Ban AI. Completely abolish the use of generative AI, even in cases where fair use would apply. This includes image generation, text-to-speech/voices, chatbots, automated translation, etc. Under the case of a complete restriction, there is no way to use copyright-protected works, and therefore no way to bring harm to creatives or deceive the uninformed. Personally, I would fall under Solution 2, in favor of increased regulations but not a complete ban on AI. In my opinion, young Americans should care about the use of generative AI because of its ethical issues and its effects on creatives. Not only has AI been used to propagate false information in the form of image and video, but also to create non-consensual sexual and bigoted media of real people to slander their character. As well, the use of generative AI in the workplace also puts many creatives in a tough position as they become increasingly unneeded in favor of machine. My long-standing firm belief on the topic of AI is that it should be used solely as a tool, but never as a replacement. But you know what will never need a replacement? Today's sponsor!